Hey everyone, this video I'm going to talk about mutation testing. So this topic is very much important from the perspective of checking the effectiveness of the unit test cases that you have written for your source code, right? The prerequisite of this course is you should have idea how to write the unit test cases and how the coverage is calculated out of those unit test cases. If you wish to take an idea about unit test and all those stuffs, I already have created all this video. So these are the topics under microservices testing. I have covered these things in detail: Mockito, writing tests for microservices coverage, and how to analyze those coverage from the SonarQube portal, right? And this video I'm going to talk about this mutation testing, right? Let's go ahead and see in which scenario I need to apply the mutation testing in our application, right? Consider the real world example. So I have class, right? And here I have methods, they are written here, and you have written some unit test cases out of this one, right? So basically I'm trying to explain here how you calculate code coverage, how coverage is calculated when you calculate this one, right? So when you are running the unit test cases, so it executes this method, right? And while execution these method, it looks into the source code that you have written and keeps the record of those iterated codes, and based on that it calculates the coverage. So when you have 80% of code coverage, it means that 80% of the source code is tested, right? So it's a pretty good threshold for the code coverage, right? Now point here is that the main thing is about unit testing is that if you change any business logic here under your method and again you execute the same test cases, this unit test case should fail because it was there for some previous business logic, right? And that is changed, so unit test should also change. But there is no mechanism so far in SonarQube unit test cases that you can check that whether after changing the business logic your unit test will fail until unless in real time it is coming. So here the point is checking the quality. So you have quantity, you have number of unit test cases, but what about the quality of unit test cases? And your unit test cases consist of three steps. First, initializing. Second, calling the actual method, right? And third step is comparison. Comparison means actual and expected data comparison, right? And when you are writing the unit test cases, this is not supposed to mess. Comparison is not supposed to, it must be there, but it can happen by not knowing us. In that case, anything in business logic it change, your method, your test case is not going to fail. And but this whatever is being called from this unit test case, this method is being called, that is coming under coverage, that number is included into this 80% coverage, right? It means whoever will see this matrix, it will say that this method is covered under test cases, but actually it is not covered. So this is the one example when someone has missed the assertion part for the unit test cases. And second part comes if there are any if logic here, if a less than 10 and there is some logic behind it, and you have written the unit test cases and the initial you have tested that when a is equal to 5, then if block is executing, all right, and a is obviously 5 is less than 10, right? But what about this 10 value is changed to 9 or 8 or 7? Still this test case is going to pass because still 5 is less than 987. So while writing the unit test cases, the boundary conditions should be taken care, otherwise there is no point of testing this one, because this value, any threshold, any constant value is there that can change, so boundary conditions should be covered. So there are other examples of that measures the quality of the test cases that you should run. So mutation test comes into picture at this point. So under mutation testing, what do you do? The unit test cases that are written there, it changes some things like boundary conditions, like it changes some value, it changes some if less than equal and then greater than or equal to, it modifies the code at runtime when it is running, and it checks that whether your unit test case is failing or not. So if you want to manually perform mutation testing, it is same. You go and change some method logic inside some business logic inside this one, and again run the unit test cases, and see if that is failing or not. If it is failing, that is okay, right? But manually doing it is not feasible for all the test cases to run. So there is one tool, there is one concept, there are some libraries that does this thing for us. So here the concept of this concept is known as mutation testing. Why the mutation? So here the business logic. So manually when you do the changes, you do the changes, but library that it is inserting some mutants, there is this term mutant for each changes that it does. So to do the business logic changes, it introduces mutants. It introduced mutants, and those mutants are executed for each test cases and source code that you have, and it checks that if there is, for each mutant it checks that there is two concepts, survived and killed. So the mutant will try to change the business logic and will again run the test cases against the changed code. And if your test cases are failing, means mutant is killed, right? So your test cases are failing after changing the business logic, means mutant is killed and it is good quality. If mutant is survived, means after changing the business logic there is no test failure. It means there is problem with the unit test cases that you have written, and it generates the report properly to show you the exact unit test where it is and where it is creating the problem, right? So this is the basic funda about this. Let me take you to the official definition of mutants and show you this in detail in more formal way. So what is mutation testing? So this is the thing. Fault or mutations that I was talking about, they are automatically seeded means inserted into your code, then your tests are run. If your test fail, then the mutation is killed, right? And if your test passes, then mutation lived, right? The quality of test can be gauged, can be measured from the percentage of mutations killed. So as many as mutations are killed, means business, after changing the business logic, test cases are failing, means your test cases are of good quality, right? So this is the funda about the mutation testing, right? So let's see why are we doing this. Actually I have explained you, but see this again. So this is done traditional test coverage, that is line, statement, branch, measures only which code is executed by your test. So that method is being called from the test unit test that you have annotated with @test, right? But it does not check that your tests are actually able to detect faults. Detect faults means the comparison part. If it is not doing the comparison part or any boundary condition checking, then it cannot detect the faults in the executed code. It is therefore only able to identify code that is definitely not tested. So there is two things now, the source code that is tested and source code that is not tested. So source code that is not tested, it definitely can separate out, but the code that is tested, actually it is tested, it cannot tell that, right? Because you can miss that assertion part and other things. So that quality is not there in unit test cases. The most extreme examples of the problems are tests with no assertion. I just explained. Fortunately, these are uncommon in most code bases because you are writing the unit test cases. So assertions are the fundamental things that you do, but that can come, right? So sometimes there are complex assertions, there are object assertions, there are different parameters that you have to do, and you can miss some things. As it is actually able to detect whether each statement is meaningfully tested, mutation testing is the golden standard against which all other types of coverage are measured. So let's see the next. What is the goal of the mutation testing? I think so far it is clear now. Identify weakly tested pieces of code, those for which mutants are not killed, and identify weak test cases, those that never kill mutants, and then compute the mutation score, how much score is there, and then learn about error propagation and state infection in the program, right? So how you can do that. So this is the theory about the mutation testing. Let's see how we can perform the mutation testing in Java. So pit is a Java library for mutation testing. So there are other libraries as Juster, Jumble and other are there, but Pit is most popular among them and it is frequently updated, right? And why it is used? Pit is fast, can analyze in minutes what would take earlier system days, and it is easy to use. It is actively developed and actively supported by prominent companies. And the reports produced by Pit are in an easy to read format, combining line coverage and mutation coverage. So it works in the way when you execute the mutation testing with the Pit, it first, before performing the mutation, it actually calculates the line coverage, actual coverage that is covered by your unit test cases, and after it takes note of those coverage, and then again execute, introduces the mutants against those codes and tries to evaluate that how many mutants are killed and how many survived, and based on that it generates a nice report, like it's a screenshot that I have taken. So this is the one that green is means the mutant is killed and the condition that whatever you are testing is nice, and when it is red means it is not covered or any other parameter, like, so there is some problem with these lines, and you should, there is proper report, proper explanation also that how you should fix it, right? So now let's go ahead and integrate this with the Spring Boot, right? The project that we have created. So this is the COVID alert service that I had explained in the previous videos. Links are given in the description box. If you want to see all of these things, and I also have shown you the GitHub page where I have linked all the videos with the topic, right? So let me brief you the things that I have in this code. I have controller, I have service, and under controller I have written some endpoints, the state and summary of the COVID data that is there, and I have services that are actually evaluating the status, green, red or orange, and what measures to be taken. And this is the provider that is contacting from the outer world and how it is there. And this is the main class which is starting the application, right? And coming to test part, test package part, here I have written the unit. This is the integration test and this is the unit test cases. These are the unit test cases that I have written, right? And the code coverage report, I have explained you about it and how to include that. So that's pretty easy. This is the ID for the code coverage Jacoco tool that you have to include, and it is going to do the job, right? And for this one, and you also have to include this tool version along with Jacoco ID, right? And second thing, I also have explained you how to export this code to SonarQube and how to analyze and how to do the static code analysis, right? That in detail. So in the same way that I have included Jacoco and SonarQube, I want to include the Pit. So that's also pretty easy. I just have to include that ID and version this way. So this is the SolidSoft companies behind the development of the Pit test. That is why this name is there. So info.solidsoft.pytest, and this is the latest version 1.5.1. So the documentation and all other things I'll give in the description box. Go ahead, you can always go and check the latest version from there. So this is the one thing that ID I have to include here, and just refresh this one. And along with this, I just need to add one more configuration here. So I need one configuration, this for the JUnit 5 that we are using. So this plugin version I need. So this is the Gradle build that I'm using, and if you have Maven project, so I'll give the link in description box. That is straightforward to do. You can do for that as well. But with Gradle, it's extremely simple. That 2 lines of code that I need, applying the ID and just mentioning the plugin version that I need with this one, right? And just refreshing it to apply all the dependencies, to download all the dependencies that it needs, right? After this, just open the terminal here, and there is, so when you apply this plugin, there is one task added by this one. So let me show you that task under verification. I have this PyTest, right? So it comes under the verification task. So PyTest is added by this plugin, right? So I just have to execute this. So Gradle, so there is no need to run the test before executing this one, and there is no need to build. So PyTest, this task is going to do that thing for us. So it works in the way when you execute this task, it first executes the normal test cases that you have and takes note of that coverage data. So for coverage, it actually calculates the coverage that your tests are doing, and then after that it inserts the mutants and tries to calculate the actual coverage, right? the true coverage, I'll say the true coverage. So actual coverage that you have against the unit test cases that you have written, and straightforward it is going to calculate that how many lines and how many branches are covered through that. It takes note of that as well, and also takes note of the, after that it introduces the mutants and monitors how many are killed and survived. Based on that, it calculates the true coverage and compares those and gives you the proper report. Let me show you that when its execution is completed. So it takes a bit time, but not much, because there are different parameters against which mutants are executed. So I'm going to explain you that in a while. First, let's understand this report and how to integrate this. So this is the build Gradle and Spring Boot project that I have used. But in any Java project, you just add this plugin and add this configuration here, and you are just good to go. So this is for JUnit 5 plugin. So this is, let me show you what it is doing. At the same time, PyTest it is executing. So it is sending 14 test classes to Minion. So it's an internal term. So 14 test classes are there in this one. So, or test cases you can say. So Minion checking environment, it found 11 tests, and dependency analysis reduced number of potential tests by 0, and 11 tests, there are total 11 number of test cases that are here. And this, at this step it calculated the coverage, line coverage, actual coverage that our test has. So it created 10 mutation test units, and against which it is doing internal analysis. So it actually creates the good number of mutants to do the changes in the business logic, and there are predefined rules how it changes that one. So sometimes when you have less than equal, if there is if condition, if I show you the source code, if I have alert service here, if I have to calculate the alert about state, I have written this get total confirm less than, right? So it is going to change that greater than. Sometimes it is going to, some of the mutants are going to change this value and then again execute the tests, right? So this business logic type of test changes that they do. So let's see this report. They have generated this one on the console itself. So mutators, so this is the boolean true return values mutator. So these are the different kinds of mutants. I'm going to explain in a while after explaining this. Generated 2, killed 1, right? So means it generated 2 mutants, out of 2 it killed 1 but survived 1. So there is 50% true coverage here, and out of all the test cases that are there, right? So this is the empty object return value. So it generated 3 and killed all of these. So all the test cases are good under this parameter. Conditional boundary mutator, so generated 3, killed 0. So means we have some problem with the conditions, right? So we should test that properly. And we have this null returns, generated 14, killed 10. So see the number of mutants that it is generating, right? So null return values. So it also depends the number of test cases and source codes that you have. It killed 10, means 71% coverage is true. And then I have void method call mutator. So if any have I have any void method call, then generated 8, killed 7, means 88% coverage is good. But there is one problem with this one. And boolean false return vals mutator, again it is doing this one. Negate conditional mutator, so generated 3, killed 3, it is good. So primitive return mutators and all these things are timing. So it is showing you how much time it took for that one. And generated total 42 mutations, killed 31, means 74 percent coverage is good. Ran 58 tests, right? So total tests introduced by mutants, it is running of total 58 tests. So it has generated this one and executed this one. How to see the report? So if you come here under build directory, here go to report, I have here pit test here. So test report is not there because test task is not executed, right? So here timed report is here. So in any time you execute this, it is going to create the folder at that time and will keep the data time wise, right? So that you can compare from the previous one. So this is the index.html that we are interested. Just open it and see pit test coverage. So number of classes 10, and this is the line coverage 93%. So if you remember from the previous videos, I have the coverage Jacoco cover reported 93% coverage, right? So this is the line coverage that it also calculated, and the mutation coverage is here 74%. And rest of the cases, that rest of the test cases which are calculating the coverage, that are faulty, and we have to fix that. Let's see how to do that. So let's first see the 100% thing that is there. So line coverage is 100% and mutation coverage is 100%. So see this controller, right? So first see the happy scenarios that it has done. So it is giving you the point that it has, when you point it, get alert about state, replace returned with null, and it generated this one, right? So you can see this properly, replace the return value with null, and get absolute, get about this method, and the mutant is killed, and about the second method, mutant is also killed, right? And these are the active mutators that were introduced, and these are the details of the tests that were examined. And you can see at each point what it is doing, this marker, right, to see that what it is changing. Coming back and seeing the scenario that where it is failing. So coming this one, DTO, right? So these are the DTUs. So alert status, base data class, and country data class, it is good. COVID API data and summary API data has problem. So let's open one by one. So here it's success. Replaced Boolean return with false, no coverage, there is no coverage. There are different, sometimes it is no coverage, sometimes it is killed, sometimes it is survived. It means no coverage means there are no tests that are doing comparison of this its success, right? So there is nothing, we have not written anything about this its success in our unit test cases, right? So there is no true and actual, we just have not written the any test cases for that one, right? Survived and killed means there are test cases written for those source codes, but there are problems that they are failing or not failing, but no coverage means there are no test cases for that one. So we are going to introduce the success for this one. And second, the same thing is for this as well. This is survived, it is saying that survived, you check the last refresh, but it survived somehow, it returned that value with null, but there is no change after changing this null, right? And coming to this one, the same thing for this as well. So this is saying that no coverage for this as well, we have not written anything. And this is also set last origin update, there is nothing about this as well, right? So we are just going to fix one thing, like for example, I just want to test this success. So COVID API data, so this is the get state data test that we are doing, and get state data is here, and here it is, and this is the COVID API data, right? So we are just streaming it, filtering it, and returning the state data actually, and this is the complete COVID API data. And this success parameter that is here, so we are not, we are just fetching that one, we are fetching from here, but we are not using this anywhere, right? So probably we missed that one, that depends on the business logic. If you want to use that, we can put that we can put some business logic here, this thing. When I, so far I was not using this COVID API data, now I'm using this one, right? So that I can do the comparison. Otherwise I have two things, I can include this COVID API data, this success, into some business logic and write the test cases for those one. And other thing, there is also possibility that some DTUs that I'm creating, and just for sake of that they should be there, right? And I do not want to put any business logic, and then in that case I can just remove this data because I do not need it, right? That's also perfectly fine, because success we are not using it. So at this moment of time I'm not going to introduce any new business logic, so I'm just removing this one, right? So I just fixed this problem, right? So this is the, that it is going to give you the more deep issues that you have with your code, right? So you should not have any dirty code in your source code that can introduce some error. So stale data should not be there. So I just removed this one. And the second thing it is saying about, and it is saying that survived means there are some test cases written for this one, but somehow it survived, there is no comparison about this last refresh. See that how we can fix that. see where we are using COVID API data and get summary data. So where we tested this get summary data, we are using this one get last refreshed, so we have to fix that. So see where these are being used. So these are the tests that I'm using here, alert service test and get COVID data provider test. These are the places that I can put the assertion for this one, right? And here this is the data that it is returning, and here success, we are just setting it and we are not using this one, just remove. So there are because we just mock that we have here, that is why it is here. So where is that get summary data? So here it is returning summary data, and I just have to here it is setting when I take you this here, and it is get last set update time, it is setting that one, and I just have to put the comparison for that one, right? So summary data. So comparing time is a bit difficult thing, right? So because the moment that you are writing, so the unit test cases that have current time into picture, writing the unit test cases for those a bit difficult, because you cannot put the direct comparison, because you do not know at which point of time your unit test cases are executing. So I can just put other thing like assert not null, right? So uh, data dot get update time, this one, right? So this get last refreshed country, no, I think we are on wrong place here. It is complaining about this one COVID API data. So COVID API data as such we are not comparing at any places, so we are just setting get last refreshed here, set last refreshed. But so here it is also telling you that which test it has examined. For that one, get COVID-19 provider data test, and you can see this get state data and get summary data tests. Both of these things it is testing, so I just have to put the logic at both these places. Assert not null, that get update time, right? So under state data we just for time consideration we just have this update time, right? And examine the second one that we have the state data. So do we have any last refreshed or something here? So yes, base data class we have, confirm deaths, and we have okay COVID API get COVID API data, and here it is setting the. So here also set last refreshed, it is not doing that, and all those things. Set last refresh time, here it is doing that one. So basically we are not using this refresh time at any place. COVID API data set last refresh time, right? But we are not using this one. So I can just comment this out that we are not using this one, because there is no point of putting this one. And when we are doing this one, we are update time setting it and we are getting that one. So that's okay, right? So I think we have done that one. So we were setting at under Mockito, but we were not comparing that, because COVID API data directly we are not processing. If I show you this one, this test case, we are getting COVID API data and just directly processing this one get data and get regional, but we are not processing this one. We would have processed this one, we would have compared this success and its success and all those things, right? So we just remove that one, so hopefully it should have fixed that one. Survived not survived, we are interested. If it is not available, means there is no test cases written for that, so for that we are not interested. Summary data, so I believe we just fixed that one. So get total, Replaced int returned with 0 means it is survived, so green color means it is okay. Get confirmed but location unidentified, so replaced int return value with it survived, and update time we just fixed, we just compared not null, and here it is saying that get confirmed but location unidentified. So let me see if we are. Yes, the problem with this confirmed but location unidentified is here. So the test that we have written, get summary data test, we are just comparing this one here, get confirmed but location unidentified, and in while getting the test data we are not setting that one, that is why it is complaining, right? So just that this, when this is the problem when you have multiple data, so single object has multiple I mean many attributes, so there are if some parameters are not used, so they can miss, we can miss those one, right? So confirmed location one unidentified, I can say that there are 5 members that are there, so the same thing I should compare here, that 5. So I was putting 0 if not set, but not setting that one, right? So just putting that value here, that should fix this one, right? So this fixed, and get update time we just fixed, so this should fix now. Two things we are fixing, so just see an example, right? So so we have fixed these two DTOs, and if I show you this COVID alert service, and under this one it is saying 100%, but it is saying this one 12 out of 15. So these are the conditions that it is saying that change conditional boundaries and negate condition, it is killed. But conditional boundary, when it is checking that one, like I told you, if it is less than 1000, suppose it change that 800, but test that data that we are putting, that's not sufficient, and the same thing is here. So let me fix this one by putting one more test. So set total confirmed, I have said here 100, which is in mid. I should put it 999, just close to this one. 999 is less than 1000, then it will go inside this. And the same thing is with this one as well. So we have here 10,000, right? So I just put here, I have just put 1005, which is between this one, just put 4 times 9 here, so that we can get to this one. It is greater than this one, and I just have to put one more test case, that is this, just close to this one, right? And we'll be passing that one. So boundary condition must be covered, the display name as well. So if I execute this one, after that it should pass. In that case we will get some other things, but that's okay, it will not be there. Yeah, good. So we have fixed this, and so 3 classes we are fixing. One, you should COVID-19 data provider, you it's just for you, you go ahead and do this part, right? So COVID data provider, we have only one. Set update time, probably the changes that we have done, that should fix this as well, right? So let me go ahead and execute our pit test once again. So after execution here, we will get one more report, so that we can compare here. So the report location will be here. Under reports, we will get this pit test, and the second time is time generated. All right. So we added one more test that should increase some actual coverage earlier. So it is failing something because we changed some of the things here. Okay. Okay, so here there is test case failure, I believe. So the things that we introduced there. So let me assert not null data dot get update time. So while here, 1 second. So if I go to get summary data here, and here it is doing set update time inside here, COVID API data get last refreshed. So last refreshed must be there, which I believe I removed from there. So last refresh, the this thing I removed, right? So now it should work properly. Analyzing the data, and it's a bit difficult, but we got into the actual issue that is there, right? So we just remove that one. So just try it again. I just want to simulate the real life that I did not. I just want to show you that in real time how you can face the issues, right? So that is why I'm doing the real time hands-on here, and how you can face the issues and how to fix that. And this is the reason the videos are going to so long, so I apologize for that, but there is no other way that I can do it in a real time. There is one thing that I could do the coding and all those things and just explain you, but that will be passive kind of thing, not the active one. So far I have explained you how the mutation testing is working, and how it is introducing the mutants to your test, and how it is failing, and how the actual issues that you can get into your source code, the minor issues that normal coverage and normal test cases would have not given you. And for the unit test casing, code coverage and this mutation test is the last step towards covering the quality of your source code. And earlier one we see the code coverage and sonar static analysis, and this mutation testing is the final thing, right? So probably in the series next I'm going to talk about the wire mock, that is part of the integration test, and some advanced concept, and then Spring Cloud contract. All these things are there, but this is the complete thing. Mutation test, if I talk about the just testing part, it's the last one. So generated 40 and it killed 34. So let me show you the report. And yes, it generated this report. This is the empty folder that failed scenario. Open this one. Yes, now we have a good coverage, right? So now I have 93 94%, and earlier if I compare it with the previous one, I had 74% true coverage, but now have 85%. So let's compare with the previous one that we had 2401 and controller 22 and DTO. Earlier we had 13 and 19, and now we have 16 out of 17, right? So some of the issues fixed. Now we have in COVID API data, problem in COVID API data only, right? And that is about last origin, and it should be no coverage. There are no test cases written for this one. And this last refreshed issue, it was complaining previously and now it is killed, right? So this we fixed. And in the same way you can compare other things about the coverage and how we fixed those one, and other things you can go ahead and fix by seeing the explanation that is there. So this is about the mutation testing, and how you can generate report, how you can analyze it, and how you can fix it. Last thing, it code coverage reports, last time we pushed those reports into sonar. So this mutation analysis report, can we push that also here on sonar cube? So yes, answer is yes, we can push that as well, right? So let me show you how you can do that. To do the mutation analysis on the sonar portal, there is one extra plugin that we need to install. So for that you just open the portal that you have and go to the administration section. This is about the 8.4 sonar cube that I'm talking about. Go to marketplace, and this is how you can install the plugin, right? So there are other ways also. uh, I'll explain you that as well. So this is the one way. Marketplace, come here and search for the mutation. Search for mutation and you will see this mutation analysis, and you have to install. By default it is uninstalled, you just have to install it, right? And then it will ask you to restart the server. You just restart it, so that your portal is, your dashboard is ready to do the analysis of mutation. And after doing this you have to come here under project section, and coming to administration, here configuration and Jacopo, here there is one section mutation, and after this configuration mutation analysis, under this you have to do one thing here. So find force missing coverage. By default it is false, it is not enabled, but you have to enable it, right? So that you can see the coverage details when you push it, right? So this is one thing that you have to do. And next thing is output directory for the pit reports. Here, this is the directory. If I show you, this is the project we have, this is the build, this is the report, and this is the pit test directory. So this is the location of the report where it is pit report is dumped, right? So that location I have to go. By default it is target pit reports, which is the format of the report location when you are using maven as a build. So if you are using maven, there is no need to change anything, but if you are using gradle, this is the change that you need to do, right? So these are the things that I have done, and after that I'm ready to push the project into this Sonar portal, and the things will work properly. And to do that I need to make one more change here under build.gradle. So under pit test I need more configuration here, like explain you output formats XML. Right now it is just reporting the HTML format, but I need XML format as well, which will be read by the Sonar portal, right? And second, I need time stamped reports false. By default it is true. So what is the meaning of this? When you have this as true, you will get this timed folder, time stamp folder, and report data under that one. But Sonar reads directly from this one pit test, so I do not need that to be time stamp, but just here, so that all the reports are at one place. So I have to create the pit, I have to trigger this pit, I have to execute this pit task from scratch and then push it to Sonar portal, right? So let me show you. So for this video, particular video, I'm just focusing on just pit test, right? Just let me clean this one so that it is clear. So now I'll be seeing this no timestamp report and output formats in XML and HTML as well, right? So pit test. So I'm not focusing on Jacoco right now, just pit test only. Build field. Mode testing. Okay, this task name incorrect, so it's pit by test. So this is the name of the task here. uh, Incorrect name earlier. And then when this pit test is complete, we will be having this report location, and here XML PyTest XML report generated. Then we will simply run the Sonar task and it will push the report to portal. So I hope everything is clear about the mutation testing, how to do analysis and fix the source code. If you find any issue, put that in comment section. I'll be happy to help you out. So our pit test is complete here. So let me refresh this location here. So now I am seeing this data directly here. So now I am seeing index.html. It was already there in previous task execution as well, but now I am seeing this mutation.xml as well, right? So this will be pushed to Sonar. So now push Sonar. So this task is going to push the report to Sonar portal. Okay, so Sonar task is completed now. So let me show you the portal here. So here it is. So if I refresh this, okay, I got this COVID alert service, right? So if I open this one and open this one, so if you see here, coverage percentage is 0 showing here because Jacoco we are not using here. Jacoco task was not executed, that is why it is show. And coming here and coming this section measures here, and here I can see this mutation analysis, right? So mutation coverage, it is saying showing 0%, and this one. So yes, I went through this issue. Now I tried to fix it, but there was no obvious solution for this, right? So I just wanted to show that how you can push the report to SonarQube, but there is some problem here, that is why it is not able to read that report. So this is the portal which I followed to do this with the Gradle, right? So hopefully in Maven it works, but I have not tried with that one. So the other link is this one. I'm going to post this, put this one in the description box as well. You go ahead and check out that. So installation section is this one. Different sections are here. You can go and check out this one. And running analysis, right? And if you come here, it is the option how you can insert this in Maven based project. If you're using that one, just put this one and trigger this task, and this one Sonar, and it will be pushing that report to Maven. So hopefully in that case it will work, right? So for Gradle plugin, mute, and also Sonar Cube does not officially support the mutation analysis in the portal. It is this plugin that we are using is community supported, right? So maybe that's the problem. Anyway, if you able to execute this one, please put that and post that in comment section as well. And also if I come across this again and found the issue that what it is causing and properly able to post it, I'll put that in comment section as well how you can fix it. For now this is the current status, right? So I was not able to see fix it, so I apologize for that, but this is how you can do that, right? So this is the last point and probably the end of the video. But before ending, let me show you the documentation of the mutation, pit mutation dates, so that few things that were not clear are clear now, and how you can do this. So this is the official page, official website for the PyTest that you can see here. And if I come here under quick start section, open this is the, they have very nice documentation actually. Maven quick start, command line, and then Gradle quick start, right? You can see here. So and more detail under here, this is the what I wanted to show you, basic concepts here. So here I explained you already about this one. You just take a look. I less than or equal, greater than or equal to 0. The mutant that is created out of this one, it just removes the greater than and tries to execute the same business logic, right? This one and this. In order to do this, it requires that the following debug information present in the bytecode, line number and source file name, and this is by default present. So by applying the mutations operators, it will generate a number of mutants. These are Java classes which contain a mutation. Mutation means also that the things, the immutable classes, you know, that cannot be changed. Mutation means you are able to change those one. Equivalent mutations are here, that you can go ahead and check out. That this is all about the, and this is what the, for each mutation it will report one of the following outcomes. I was able to show you that mutation survived, mutation killed, mutation lived was not there, no coverage was there, not viable, timeout, memory error, run error. So lived is killed and lived. Lived means survived. That's the same thing. And other explanation are here. No coverage means I have explained you that there are no tests that were being covered about that. Non-viable means mutation is one that could not be loaded by the JVM as the bytecode was in some way invalid, right? And memory error is that JVM mutation that increases the amount of memory used by the system, or maybe the result of the additional memory overhead required to repeatedly run your test in the presence of mutations. These are the things that you can go ahead and check out. After this basic concepts, you can see this available mutation operation and incremental analysis you can see. And under this one, this mutators, these are the, this is the pretty long documentation, but the summary is here. So these are the different kind of some mutants that are introduced by the this library, conditional, increments, invert. You can go ahead and click on it and check out those one, right? So this is the end of this video, and probably I have covered. So the testing life cycle I have covered about the application. There is some advanced concept like when you do are doing the real-time integration testing, how to mock. We have mocked the class level things we have mocked, right? So what I want, what if I want to mock the some external party call, right? So the same way that that third party is responding, I should have some server and all those stuffs, so that I can mutate, I can mock those behaviors, I can simulate those behavior to run by running a local server that can help me in integration testing. Suppose there is a service like in our example, if I show you this COVID alert service here, we have controller here, right? So this controller is coming for the state, and get alert state is coming here, and here it is calling get state data, right? And here it is calling this URL, right? So this is the outward party, and at the time of testing I do not know how it is behaving. So the next topic I am going to explain you how I can build a server, a mock server, uh, that is so that I can, when I hit this API, through the test, it returns some pre-configured response so that I can test it from end to end, like in the real world situation, right? So that we can do with the help of WireMock. WireMock is there, that is very helpful in integration testing, real-time integration testing for the REST-based services, right? So that is very much important and advanced concept about testing. So I'm going to explain you that in the next video. So I'll see you in the next video with the WireMock. Till then, take care. Bye bye.